Good day, and welcome to another edition of your favorite Talkies review show, The Film Book Club, with your hosts, Gary Lunt and Jamie Williamson.
Good. Right on schedule.
What's that off?
It's from A View to a Kill.
Oh, yes.
Max Zorin.
Max Zorin, I love.
And with that goes the first Bond alarm of the podcast.
I don't think we should have many more beyond the first initial.
I think we should do one.
You've seen the title, guys.
Yes, we'll do another one in a moment when we explain a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But until then, almost as a guard salute, you could say.
Oh.
But before we get
in 10 Bond.
Yeah, all in a row without us speaking.
Yes.
Before we get on to that, then, I am co-host Gary, and I am here.
And I'm co-host Jamie, and I'm not sure what to say because I'm so sick of saying I'm also here. It doesn't make sense.
One of these days, we will write an opening line that will be lovely and make sense.
But I'm co-host Jamie.
And you're also here.
Apparently so.
Yeah. So, readers, as you all may know, we are massive Bondian Bond nerds.
I don't know if you can tell after the last two episodes have been...
Yeah.
Well, Austin Powers isn't Bond, but it's very Bond heavy.
It's the closest to Bond you can get without being Bond, I would say. Or definitely
Harry Palmer.
Yeah. But yes, and we thought, we were scheduled to do an actual full-length chapter episode.
Yeah, and definitely not a Bond thing for a few weeks, but...
Yes, but in the news this week, we've had the passing of the late, great Roger Moore, who is an icon for both of us, I would say, and for thousands of Bondites around the globe.
Lots of people were saying, oh, if only he did one Roger Moore.
Yes, they were.
That's what they were saying in the 80s, weren't they, Gary?
Yeah.
That's my first Roger Moore joke.
But very sad that he's passed. He was 89 years old.
Had cancer, didn't he?
Yeah, I wept a shed full of tears when I heard. I was very upset.
I was in work, so I was just there, like... pretending to
the first thing I did was when I found out was phone you, and I was like, oh my god, I must tell Jamie and stuff, and I gave you numerous missed calls.
Yes, and I looked at my phone and went, I could feel it going off. I was with a guest at the hotel. I could feel it go off. Like, oh, something must have happened. And I saw 2 missed calls from you. Oh, Roger Moore's died.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't work understand that they should give us special answering telephone privileges for things like this. But, yeah, so we're basically just going to, through this episode, a short appendix, basically our tribute to Roger Moore. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about a few little things within. So I'll tell you, Jamie, even though you know, but by telling you, that will inform the readers out there. Yeah, so we can
pretend that I've not found out until now.
Of the things that we're going to be discussing about throughout. Okay. So we're going to be talking about some of our favourite Roger Moore moments. We're also going to be discussing our favourite Roger Moore films in order, which is very exciting.
We should say we mean Bond films, because we do like Roger Moore, but we are heavily Bond people.
Yes.
So we're not going to be putting like episodes of The Saint or Maverick or something in.
Or Spice World, the movie.
That might be in there.
Yeah.
It might be at the bottom of the list, but
or a Euro boat trip as well.
He's in that.
Yeah.
Well, that needs to be given a watch now.
As a camp waiter.
He was in one of those ones where someone plays like a Disney princess, but she's American and it doesn't make sense. He was in one of those.
And as well, another thing, I've never actually known if he is him in it or not, but there's that episode of Knowing Me, Knowing You, the Alan Partridge one.
No, it's Steve Coogan doing the voice.
Is it? I thought it was.
Hello, Alan.
Yeah, hello, Alan.
It is the Steve Coogan.
I was never 100% sure, because he is so good at that impression.
We should tell people what that is, because I jumped in there before you could explain.
Yeah. So Alan Partridge, who is a character by Steve Coogan, is a talk show host.
Yes.
And Knowing Me, Knowing You is his talk show.
Yeah, it's like a fake talk show.
It's like a fake sitcom talk show.
Yeah, it's from the 90s, and it's before...
I'm Alan Partridge.
Which is what... the TV series Alan Partridge was most famous for, really.
Yes, yeah. And is it the first episode of it? He's expecting...
the first one, the very first, the pilot.
Roger Moore's going to be his guest, but he's stuck in traffic, isn't it? And throughout the episode, he keeps getting like phone calls through going, he's on his way, people. Roger Moore is on his way. He's
stuck on blah, 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 roundabout, that kind of thing.
And then eventually they do a phone interview with him, don't they?
The very, very end, he's going, I've got him on the phone. I've got Roger on the phone. Roger, hello. Hello, Alan. And then it cuts out.
I just love how slow it is when he speaks at the end when he does the impression. Like, hello, Alan. So good. But I
was saying to you pre-pod that I can't do an impression of Roger Moore at all. But I can do a feasible impression of Steve Coogan's impression.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I can do as well.
Hello, Alan. Even then, that wasn't right.
So, if you can do any impressions, readers, of Roger Moore,
just shout it at your headphones.
Yeah, or feel free to send the audio clips in.
Oh, yes.
We'll have a listen ourselves.
I mean, we won't use them because that would just sound weird on an episode about,
Unless, for some reason in the future, we need a Roger Moore impression alarm.
Yes.
So...
We could always do with Roger Moore of them. Second one.
Oh, the lols. So when we say we're going to...
or more realistically, the lulls.
When we say we're going to be rating our Roger Moore Bond films in order, we're not talking about what we critically think are the best Roger Moore films. Yeah. We're talking about...
enjoyment.
Yeah, which ones we love the most, and we're going to be going... I mean, obviously, we love them all.
Yeah.
So when we're saying least... We're not saying worst, we're saying least favourite.
Yeah.
It's a favourite. Sort of most viewed and most enjoyed.
Exactly.
Sort of things.
We enjoy, like... the worst Bond film, which is Die Another Day. Even then, I would say that's like a 7 out of 10 for enjoyment.
Yeah. Good opening.
Yeah.
Very good.
And that's
opening.
the worst one. The worst one's 7 out of 10, and all of these are clearly above.
Totes. So we'll be doing that. We'll also be talking about who is Roger Moore's best foe on screen.
Roger Moore's James Bond's best foe.
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
Not just Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Or something.
Who we enjoyed his scenes with most, or sort of like best cast chemistry. And then also the one I'm looking forward to discussing the most, our Roger Moore favourite action scene as Bond.
I know it straight away. I hope I go first, because then you might take this one, because it is the best one.
Okay, well, when we get to that, we'll let you go first then.
Okay.
But anyway, so we'll before we crack on with all of that then, so we always have a Bond alarm which sounds in the background. You've already heard it once at the start of the episode. Every time a Bond reference comes up.
Oh, we should say this, just because some people don't realise it's a Bond alarm, but the reason why it's a Bond alarm is because at the end it goes ring.
Yes, the opening chord.
Which, is the James Bond chord on guitar.
Or the ending chord, you should say.
The end of the theme.
It's basically the Bond equivalent of A Hard Day's Night opening, you could say.
Yeah,
it's the chord that everyone knows.
But apparently some people don't. So I'm explaining what it is, because some people don't seem to be getting it. But I suppose they're not as big Bond fans as us. That's why if they had a film podcast, they probably wouldn't need a Bond alarm.
Yeah, shame. Oh, well. But anyway, so in honour of Roger and his work, here we go. Here's one uninterrupted Bond alarm just for you, Rog. That gave me sad goosebumps.
Is that a thing?
It is now.
Okay.
One of the things we've been
we've
been reading a lot of stories about him and stuff over the last couple of days since it happened, and you discovered one quite recently,
just like about half an hour before the podcast.
So tell me and our readers this.
Well, we both knew before finding fame as an actor, he was also a model. And he was also a knitwear model. Yeah. And I think we've both seen the pictures of him looking quite dashing, wearing knitwear. Yeah. And you could tell why he would be a matinee idol in people's eyes before then and all that kind of thing. But apparently his nickname was Mr. Knit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just glorious.
And then he did toothpaste commercials and things like that. And then people thought that that was one of the reasons why he didn't get good roles, because he was like a face rather than an actor. Yeah. But I love the fact that Roger Moore was Mr. Knit. With a K, he didn't have knits.
Yeah. Well, he's a very clean man.
Yes, very clean.
Just like Paul's granddad.
Yes. Very good reference.
Yes. If you got that, readers, you're one of us. A super nerd, if you will.
That's a clue for people.
Yeah.
Very niche clue.
One of the things I was thinking when you were talking about knitwear, and I've only just thought of this now for the first time, of all the other 5 Bond actors other than George Lazenby, I think the only other one, I mean, this is weird because Sean Connery is Scottish, but the only other one who could pull off the frilly cravat and the kilt would be Roger Moore in my eyes.
Yeah. He's definitely the one who could pull it off the most.
I think he'd look great in a frilly cravat. I think there's that scene, isn't there, where he's presenting Marlon Brando. Well, Marlon Brando didn't turn up to the Oscars.
He's not presenting Marlon Brando.
He's got a frilly cravatty thing on there, like one of them 70s frilly shirts.
Yeah.
Looks dapper. Very nice.
Very dapper, man. I was going to say something, but it completely went from my mind.
Well, I mean, saying that as well, like just to save. Yeah. The fact that he was a model as well. Yeah. I mean, people just presume it was just Lazenby was the original model, but
Lazenby was just a model.
Just a model, yeah.
Whereas he
can never be just a model.
You can if you're George Lazenby. But like when. Yeah, he was an actor from... Well, he's an animator first. Did you know that? Animator first. And he got sacked and then he went into the army.
Yeah.
But he was on... I think it was Anthony and Cleopatra, what a film about Anthony and Cleopatra, and he was an extra in the film, and then all of the girls on set just fancied him, and then someone paid for his tuition through RADA, just because on this film when he was an extra, all the girls fancied him, and that's literally how he got his way into acting, was being pretty.
I thought that's how acting worked, though.
Well, in many ways, that's how it worked for George Lazenby, definitely.
Well, he is. I mean, having said that, he is more than just a face and a model, because he is. He's brilliant. He's so definitely good. And we were saying before, like, he revolutionised the Bond franchise, really.
Well, he completely changed the role.
Because, I mean, a lot of people say as soon as Connery came in, that's when it started going a bit campy and things. But, I mean, you look back at the seeds...
You mean Roger Moore?
Roger Moore, sorry. Yeah. But the seeds were sowed with Connery and Diamonds Are Forever, because that was the start of the campy swing.
When Sean Connery stopped paying attention is when it started becoming camp.
But, I mean, when a lot of the stuff in Diamonds Are Forever is when the series started changing to that sort of, like, more comic tone.
Yeah, definitely.
And things.
And that must have been in the script for Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, and you can't imagine Connery doing it as, I don't know if this is the right way of saying it, but with as much jeu de vie.
Yeah, he doesn't do it to aplomb.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Roger Moore does. The weird thing is, Live and Let Die is much more of a Sean Connery film than Diamonds Are Forever.
And there was a few,
Diamonds Are Forever is much more of a Roger Moore film than Sean Connery.
There's a few misfires early on, like I think The Man with the Golden Gun, they tried to revert back a bit more to Connery. There's a scene where he slaps around Maud Adams, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't like that scene.
And, like, goes to break her arm. He's like, you're hurting me. I'll break it if you don't tell me.
Yeah. That's the bit where it doesn't come across as wooden but uncomfortable. But even then, people have said that you can tell that he doesn't like it, and I didn't. Yeah. I watched it today, and I don't think it looks like he doesn't.
Not at all.
I think real life he didn't like the fact that he's doing that scene, and he's mentioned it in interviews. But in the scene, he plays it like.
And I love that as well. Like, I mean slightly off Bond, by which I mean completely off Bond. But I only saw an interview the other week with Sigourney Weaver back from when she was making Aliens. Yeah. And she originally wasn't going to sign up to do Aliens with James Cameron because she hates guns so much. Yeah. And she didn't want Ripley to have. But then I think when she realised that she was shooting aliens and not people, and the fact that it is a sci-fi film as well, so you can get away with it.
And the fact that she hates guns sort of plays into the character. The character would be like
exactly.
That as
well. But I mean, the thing is with when you're looking at Roger Moore being more Connery-esque in The Man with the Golden Gun, you've got the bits which are just classic Roger Moore and some of his best moments in The Man with the Golden Gun, like the bit at the beginning with I've lost my charm, not from where I'm standing. It's just brilliant. And then of course, I mean, we need to.
Sorry, I've got to just jump in, but the fact that he swallows a bullet and has to go to a shop and get laxatives, and his face when he goes. There's no way in hell that Sean Connery or George Lazenby or Timothy Dalton or any of, apart from maybe Pierce Brosnan, there's no way any of them would have done that.
No.
That's very early on in that.
Brilliant. And one of the things as well, I mean, we wouldn't have. I mean, obviously times have changed and stuff, but it so we've just got to accept it for the time that it came out in and stuff. But the first two Roger Moore films, Live and Let Die and Man with the Golden Gun, gave us Clifton James as Sheriff J.W. Pepper.
Different times, of course.
And it can be difficult looking back at certain things that he says, but I still really like him as a character.
Again, watching The
Man with the Golden Gun.
Man with the Golden Gun
has a few dodgy moments.
when he's face pointy head a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, performance as well. He got typecast in that role the rest of his career. Yeah. But it's such a great performance. All of them are really good. It's weird to think of because like we were saying, View to a Kill, Live and Let Die. I always get them confused because they both got death in them. Yeah. But Live and Let Die is very quickly Roger Moore. Even though it's the one that's thought was being the most Sean Connery, but it starts off with that scene where
brilliant.
That is it. Italian woman is in his room. That's like the first time you see him, and then M and Moneypenny come in to hide her in it. It's so. Yeah. I mean, Sean Connery would have had a scene like that, but it wouldn't have been his first one ever as James Bond, and it wouldn't have been just comedy gold the whole way through.
The magnet, getting the magnet dress open as well with his watch.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sorry, I love the whole. I mean, I'll tell you what. If anyone's listening and they disagree with me on this, feel free to tweet us at Film Book Club or at Gary the Lunt if you want to go personal.
Or at Jamie Scripps, I'd like to know, actually.
I think the sexiest Roger Moore has ever been is the scene when in Live and Let Die where he's basically getting sent out to be killed, and he's got his little black gloves on and stuff, and he's being marched out at gunpoint down that back alley in Harlem.
Yeah.
And he swings on the ladder and does like that swinging kick thing and everything. When he's walking around Harlem with those gloves on and that black coat
and his massive collar,
oh man, he looks bitching.
There's a good bit in that where you could tell they're halfway through Sean Connery and Roger Moore, because he wears one of those like safari kind of suits that he always wears, but it's powder blue, much like Sean Connery's would have worn. So you could tell it's they're a halfway house. It's again, because it's a film series which was so popular, and it already went through. I mean, it went through 2 actors, but it was Sean Connery's character. If you read the books now, even though obviously it wasn't written with Sean Connery in mind mostly, you read them as Sean Connery if you read the books. Yeah. The fact that he managed to make them the character so much his own, probably more than anyone else. I mean, Timothy Dalton sort of, because it was such a swing back towards Ian Fleming, it was a little bit easier for him, but Roger Moore makes it. It's not James Bond; it's Roger Moore's James Bond. Whereas the rest of them are playing James Bond. Yeah. What I love about it so much as well is when you think like the 70s when he came into the role, and you think it like sort of cinema in the 70s. A lot of the stuff it swung. We'd left the swinging 60s and we'd gone to like a darker tone. So you've got things like Taxi Driver and just the main sort of like big hitters at that time. Rocky, which is like downtrodden, stuff like Network, all those sort of films, and then you've got this like a kick-ass character who's doing it with wit and charm, and he's just really funny as well. I think it's just really refreshing. So British. Considering as a franchise, I hate the word franchise, but as a franchise, it's the biggest market is America. The biggest marketable thing about James Bond is that it's British. Yeah. And he's so British. Yeah. And it's not a coincidence that even though obviously revenue for Bond was always high, it was very high during Roger Moore. And
it's like some of the things as well, like how British he was, but then there's little things as well which I really like that sneak in. Like he always refuses cups of tea when he's offered them, which I think is really cool. And we mentioned it on the podcast where we were talking about what we'd want Bond 25 to be. And I mentioned one of my favourite things, not just in Roger Moore Bond films, but in all Bond films as a whole, the bit when he's in A View to a Kill, when he talks about making quiche, and this goes, I've been known to dabble. It's like one of my favourite bits.
Quiche Lorraine.
It's so good. That would have been a good Bond name. Quiche Lorraine. This is my assistant, Quiche Lorraine.
In the 80s, when it was classy to have quiche.
I mean, how many other Bond actors could you get making it look not only cool but still acceptable within the film without it taking you out of the film? Yeah. To snowboard into the Beach Boys or a Dave Lee Roth cover of the Beach Boys and stuff.
But then there's a couple of things, and it wasn't his fault. There's a couple of things in them where it's like the when he's with J.W. Pepper and he's doing the chase and he does this. Obviously, it's not him; it's a stunt driver. But that bitch in
with the whistle,
the car. Yeah. Over the thing, and it's like an in-camera shot. It's like impossible. They spent ages setting it up.
So good.
Yeah, it's just funny that it goes.
And as well, you're not thinking of I sure am, boy.
Yeah.
Oh my word. He was. I mean, we were saying this earlier as well. I mean, we were both born sort of like late 80s. You 88, 88, and I was 89, and we should say that Pierce Brosnan is our Bond on paper. Yeah. That's the thing. The Bond that you say your Bond is who was making the films when you were first sort of film viewing age. Yeah. So Pierce Brosnan is ours on paper. Yeah. But realistically, in truth, it was very much Roger Moore for me.
Well, it depends, because Roger Moore's the one that's on ITV a lot when I was a kid.
They were the ones I just used to enjoy watching the most as well. Like
I've had two of my again, it's not necessarily Roger Moore, but I've had two of my sexual awakening experiences via the television because of James Bond's films under the Roger Moore. One of them is probably infamous by now.
Yes, it is.
But the other one
we should just say, just in case people don't know the infamous one,
Mayday.
Yeah.
That's what my head was thinking. Mayday, Mayday. When I was having this sex nightmare about her.
Get Zorin for me.
It's because he was at 57 at that point, and because he was a little bit more not doughy, but less firm. Yeah. And she was just fucking rigid back. Man. It was just so weird mix. Yeah. But then also, again, was it BB?
Yeah, For Your Eyes Only.
In For Your Eyes Only. Oh, and so that's how much, I mean, not necessarily Roger Moore, but from a sexual point of view, those films,
yeah.
Family members listen to this. Oh dear.
I hear you.
Anyway, who would have thought an obituary episode would have become so sexual?
I mean, I think this is perfect time for us to move on to our favourite Roger Moore films in order, I think. So, like I say, I mean, I feel bad for having a least favourite, but we have to for the sake of your...
That's just how life works, it's fine.
For the sake of listenership.
It's like children. Parents always have a least favourite child.
So in 7th place for me, I've got For Your Eyes Only as my least favourite Roger Moore film. This is mainly because, I mean, it's got some great moments in it, and it's mainly because out of
it the French twins?
Well, out of the whole 24 of the Bond films, it's my least watched out of all of them. Yeah. Mainly because I always found it was the most difficult to find on VHS back in my
that's a good reason.
My kid age as well. It was just never in W.H. Smith's ever. So
Did you try Woolies?
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. But as well, it's really weird because I think it's great. It's got the bit where he kicks Lado with octagonal glasses off the cliff.
Yes.
It's bloody brilliant.
It's got Topol on it.
I love Topol.
Wishing he was a rich man.
Columbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that's great. I love as well the scene where Q's trying to do the E-fit sort of thing, and he's like, a nose Q, not a banana. It's brilliant. But it's weird because it's bookended by two of the weirdest. It bookends it like it's going to be a comedy film, almost Austin Powersy, and then
that's the thing. That's when he didn't know which way to go, really. At that point.
But, you know, we were saying this before as well, he was the only of the Bonds to kill Blofeld.
Yes, in this film.
Yeah, so...
For didn't accept the delicatessen in stainless steel.
Yeah, love it. So there's that. 6th place, again, I feel awful for this as well, but it just had to be done. The Man with the Golden Gun is in 6th for me.
Heart palpitations.
I know, because Scaramanga's one of my favourite villains.
Are you blaming it on Lulu?
Oh, no. I don't mind Lulu. No, I think it's fine. I'm a
he
big
comes
fan of
just before the kill.
Yes,
and
he
that's
does.
that's what she means as well, because in the film, Maud Adams says that we only have sex before we kill someone.
Yeah.
So that's what Lulu's actually saying in the song. It's disgusting, Lulu. Go back to Scotland with your tail between your legs.
Take that. Anyway. Again, I love this film.
Do you think Really Like My Fire is the fact that she's old and she wants her fire relit?
Maybe.
Sorry, I know it's not
I've never really thought about it too much, to be honest.
Your love is my only desire.
Maybe it is now. It all makes sense. Yeah. I mean, some of the moments in The Man with the Golden Gun are brilliant. I love it. I love the bit where you don't realise that Maud Adams is actually dead, and he starts having a conversation with her.
Yeah, that's really good.
So good. Like, and the stuff as well, like in like Knick Knack's maze and everything. It's great. But unfortunately, lists are there to be made.
Yes.
Again, I feel awful for this because this was my most watched of all of them in the VHS era.
Go on.
Moonraker. I bloody love Moonraker.
I love Moonraker.
Moonraker's brilliant. It's so good.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
Pew, pew. Bad laser beam.
I used to love. I remember on the VHS as well. There was a little bit on the back of the box that said they met up with people who worked high up in NASA to consult and make sure that everything that happened in Moonraker could actually happen in reality.
Yes.
I think the only thing, when I read up on this elsewhere in the James Bond newsletter fan club thing, was the only thing that wouldn't have happened is you wouldn't have been able to have heard the sound of the lasers.
I was going to say the noise in space.
But apart from that, everything could happen. Could happen.
Wouldn't happen.
But could.
They didn't have rockets to just hang around in space privately if it was in the 70s, did they, Gary?
Well, you never know. Maybe there's something the government haven't told us.
It's like the moon control.
I mean, as well, it's got some great... I mean, of course, well, here's to us.
Oh. I wish you never said anything.
But, as well, I mean, I'll
That's Jaws, by the way, just in case people don't realise it's Jaws at the end of the film.
I love... another bit in that where they push the ambulance worker out of the ambulance, the goon, and he just crashes into the 7-Up advert right through the mouth and stuff. Yes, yeah. But
a bit like in From Russia with Love when...
Yeah. The bit as well in Moonraker, which I think's absolute amazing, is just because how scary it is, and it's Jaws' scariest moment, I think.
Yeah.
When he's got that big Rio de Janeiro costume on,
and he's
walking down, and he's walking down all creepy. That is scary as, man.
Yeah,
that's even scarier than early Spy Who Loved Me stuff.
And it's really funny when he's dragged off by the Carnival people.
Yeah, I love it.
So it's like, oh dear.
Yeah. Next up, Live and Let Die.
Okay.
I mean, it's brilliant. Whose funeral is it? Yours. So good.
Yeah.
Baron Samedi. I love a Bond film with sharks as well.
The guy, it's not Baron Samedi.
Teehee?
No, not Teehee.
No. Whisper.
No, the main guy.
Champagne, sir.
Kananga,
Mr. Big.
Yes. Yeah. With the whole Kananga, Mr. Big. What's it called? Prosthetics.
Yeah.
Which made him look even more like himself somehow. The fact of it, the line of "Dame's just for tombstones, baby," all that kind of stuff. I know this is Roger Moore based stuff, but Roger Moore was amazing. The fact of it, he so easily got himself into. There's
great debut.
Yeah, there's a line from. I listened to the Desert Island Discs of him today, and there's a line where he's been so. It wasn't around this film, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up now because I could have picked it around the film that he's talking about. But where someone says some people would say you're not pushing yourself that much as James Bond, and he'd say well, that's a good thing. Yeah, I've made the character my own. Yeah, or something like that. But like whatever. I haven't put it right, but whatever he said, it was so humble. It was him saying, "I'm not a good actor." Yeah, and he clearly is a very good actor. Yeah. He immediately became James Bond. It wasn't the same as George Lazenby, where people went, "Oh, who's this fucker playing James Bond?" It was like, "Oh, Roger Moore, good. Yeah, Roger Moore's James Bond." Yeah, definitely. I mean, Live and Let Die's got some brilliant moments in it as well. I mean, I just love James Bond in a hand glider with a cigar straight away. It's cool as the bit as well. I mean, one of my favourite things that Bond does when he has the cigar and lights the aerosol on fire. Yeah, iconic, definitely. Yeah, brilliant. So we've gone from that. Next up, Octopussy. Is this your third one, like third favourite? I love Octopussy. I know you do. It's so good. Like that's a lot of viewing time. Have one when you can have 8. That's the one. It's lovely. I love all the India stuff. VJ, I think's just so cool. Like I love him. I love that he actually smashes one of the henchmen with the tennis racket as well that goes over his head. Do you like the games he plays? Yeah. I'm playing this game, but I don't know the rules to, but I'm going to pretend I do because of film. Yeah. I also love as well when just how calm Roger. I mean, it's one of Roger Moore's best scenes in the Bond films as well. But when he's playing Khan, yeah, when he's playing him, I forget what the game is. Yeah, is it not back like whatever he's rolling his dice with? And he's got a little holder, hasn't he? The dice roller and stuff. And he doesn't break eye contact with him the whole time. He just rolls it, keeps eye contact with him, and knows that he gets a double 6. Yeah, and he goes all in the wrist like that. And, so, and then when Khan starts writing out the check as well. Saying Kamal, sorry. Yeah. As he starts writing it out as well, he just goes, I prefer cash as well. It's just so good. And then it's got the bit as well, I look like later on where they do all the fight, it goes a little bit Raiders of the Lost Ark, you could say as well, and stuff, where I love it where he pulls a sword out of someone's mouth, like a sword swallower, and has like a full-on like fight with him and goes, you best put this back yourself. And throws it back to him. It's brilliant. But there is an incredible, I can't remember what it is, there's an incredibly bad line in it, isn't there? I can't remember. I think it's perfect. There's a line in it where it's like he gives some money to somebody and he goes, "That'll keep you in curry for a year." Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah, which was fine at the time, and it's not Roger Moore's fault. But bloody hell, yeah, that'll keep you in curry for a year. Also, another brilliant. I mean, it's got how many other? You're not gonna say a brilliant line. That's your choice of words. How many other Bonds could you get away with doing a Tarzan swing from a vine? Yeah. And as well, I mean, finally, and then I'll move on to the next one. But when they're going to feed him to the tigers and he's pretending to be dead, when the men are about to throw him in and he's in that sack, he's also going, whoa, like that, and they run off scared, and then he escapes. And he says to a tiger, doesn't he, sit? Like that, and the tiger just like slicks down. Oh, I love it, I does. Then in the penultimate place, second up, runner up, The Spy Who Loved Me. Keeping all my secrets safe tonight. I mean, it's just gold. It's if I'm allowed to say, your favourite Bond girls in that one? Yes, I love Barbara Bach. I love Barbara Bach, and I cannot lie. Yeah. You other Bond girls can't deny. That was probably my equivalent of your Mayday, I think. I think you won. Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, The Spy Who Loved Me, we get Jaws. The Union Jack flag. Oh, I mean, iconic. Yeah. So good. For England. At the beginning. And of course, where's Feckish? Pyramids! And then just like knocks the tie out of his hands. It could be any pyramids. I think there's more pyramids in Sudan than there is in Egypt. Pyramids!
Oh, so good. Absolutely love it. And that's got more sharks in it as well.
Although Stromberg, what do you think on Stromberg?
I'm a fan of his. He's not he's not the most exciting of villains, but I love his plan though of an underwater city. I think it's really cool.
He does alright as a Blofeld placeholder as well.
I also
There's a few Blofeld placeholders in his years.
Drax as well. I also love when he rides that jet ski, an early jet ski, and it's just basically a fax machine on wheels.
Yes.
Or not wheels, but on skis.
Which one's the Roger Moore one, where a gadget that he has is a espresso machine?
Oh, yeah. Well, he gets at the beginning of Live and Let Die, doesn't he, when M comes to his house?
And M goes, I don't think much of this gadget. Something like that.
Which, going on to my favourite, leaves, obviously, looked down upon by many other Bond fans.
We're going to agree on this, I think.
A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
A View to a Kill was my most watched Roger Moore film, most watched James Bond film growing up. I think it's brilliant. I love Christopher Walken. I love Zorin. I love Mayday.
The climb up the stairs.
I love Patrick McNee. Yeah.
Oh, Patrick McNee.
I love the Dancing Butterflies. I love the song. I love the iceberg fuck ship at the beginning. I love the horse steroids. I love anything with a blimp. I love a blimp. I'm a big fan of a blimp.
You give good blimp, you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. A big fan of Stacey.
A big.
I like her because I love how her voice goes up at the end of that. I think I've mentioned this before.
She's got a very interesting voice, Stacey.
Yeah, I love it when he's shooting people with the shotgun and then getting back up again. And she goes, "What's in this?" And she goes, "Rock salt." Yeah. He makes a quiche.
I think this is the film where he goes, "Move."
Yeah,
which is the best Roger Moore line.
It's got the most uses of the Roger Moore noise as well, which is brilliant. The stuff in the fire engine as well.
Yeah,
it's women's lib. They're taking over the Teamsters. And as well as when he goes into the mine and stuff, and we've got the brilliant bit as well where the guy comes in with the fire alarm on, doesn't he, on the back of his truck, and he goes, "Where's the fire?" And he looks just like Harrison Ford in that one shot.
Yeah,
and he goes, "On your rear end."
Yeah.
And then he punches him. Oh, it's brilliant. And the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Hello.
And that film has one of the best James Bondian endings of like a countdown to something bad happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Double cross of the bad guy. Like if the bad guy double crosses one of the other bad guys.
Yeah.
Mayday's trapped under there.
Yeah, and we've also got the favourite bits as well, when the drunk guy keeps double taking at his bottle of wine, as well as the climbing down the ladder to get out of the burning building.
Is it Roger Moore film one of the ones with the pigeon double taking?
Moonraker. Yeah, with the gondola.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gondola on land.
Yeah, it's so good. A big fan as well. You know when he fights, I forget the chap's name, but when he fights the guy in Moonraker, just before he throws him through the piano, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That bit where they're fighting on the rooftop in Venice, and it's like a blue circle pattern, isn't it? How much does that remind you of The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
With Vader and Luke when they have that fight with the window.
Now you've mentioned, I didn't think about it until now.
Yeah, I always thought that, even growing up and stuff. Loved it. So yes, thus concludes my Roger Moore countdown from least favourite to favourite. What are yours?
Mine should be a little bit quicker, I guess, because we went through the points.
Yeah.
But least favourite, but not bad. For Your Eyes Only, again, it's the same one you had.
We agree, yeah.
Similar reasons, there's a lot of rock climbing, you don't care. They don't introduce it's not Roger Moore's fault, they don't introduce the characters as well as, like, the non-Roger characters as much. The Bond girl, although she had very nice green eyes, is the most boring Bond girl of any of them, I think. I
love the bit where he's rock climbing though, and he's the guy starts banging out his little pins into the wall, into the cliff.
Bang you up anyway.
Yeah. In fact, now that we've had this conversation, I'm definitely going to watch Fiora's only when I get back. Tonight.
I think it's next on my marathon is Moonraker.
So we've been working to revisit these films, haven't we? So you've been working because we thought we're not going to have time to watch all 7 of them before this pod. So you've been going from the front, I've been going from the back.
Yeah, my next one will be Moonraker, which is the 4th one. So. Yeah, and then after that, obviously, is this one.
Yeah.
My next one on the list, you won't like this, I don't think, because you would do it as your 3rd.
Yeah.
Octopussy.
That's fine. I understand why people aren't a big fan.
It is the one that it's partly it's funny just in a film, But Roger Moore as the clown.
Oh, I love that though.
I mean, I do like it's very Roger Moore.
And as well, another reason which we didn't mention earlier on, I just love it when other double O's were involved.
Yes, I do love other double O's.
009.
We mentioned it the other day, but they mentioned 010 at some point.
Yeah.
That's not in this film, but like James Bond, it's just any mention of double O's. We love Trevelyan and Goldfinger.
Blew my mind when that happened.
Yeah, there's a mention of 002 in which one is it?
Is it Living Daylights?
No, Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me. They mentioned 002. Man of the Golden Gun, because the Man of the Golden Gun killed 002 back in '69. My next one after that, I think this was your fourth one. My next one was Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
They're all good now. I mean, the other two were good, but these are all they're all excellent now. And because it isn't, again, it sounds weird because I was talking about how sure he was, but it's still not as sure as he is in the other ones.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of. It's the most Sean Connery. Like I was saying, this is a Sean Connery, Roger Moore film, whereas Diamonds Are Forever is a Roger Moore, Sean Connery film. It's amazing. My next one, Moonraker, which I like a lot more than is good. I love Moonraker.
Moonraker's brilliant.
I love the bits where he meets Dr. Goodhead and goes, "Oh, a woman," and stuff like that.
I also love as well when the code to get into the lab is the Close Encounters. Until my voice broke halfway through doing that.
Yeah. But again, I won't go through them too much because we've went through them. But I love Moonraker. I love Drax. Drax is a lot.
Drax is great. He pops up in Munich as well.
Does he? I did not know that. Yeah. I think now you said it, I think I can recognise him. But and then The Spy Who Loved Me. Love The Spy Who Loved Me.
Golden.
Oh, that's for me. That's like quintessential Roger Moore. This is when that was peak Roger Moore.
Yeah. Not just peak Roger Moore, but that's probably one of the ultimate Bond films, I think.
Again, I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it at a third point.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to best action sequence, already just spoiled that for everyone.
Yeah.
But the bit where the very beginning where the Union Jack comes out,
that has to be
it's like the most foot stamping.
Yeah.
Hand and fist in the air,
that's
cheering.
Probably the most iconic moment of Roger Moore's tenure as well.
American kids were like going, yeah. I don't even know what that means. But
and as well, I mean, secret kudos to Stanley Kubrick who helped light it as well.
Yeah, of course. There's the
birth of Pinewood.
Yeah, there's a little bit more depth. Like they're trying to. It's not the first Bond film that tries to make the Bond girl equal to Bond, but it's definitely the one that does it the most obviously, because they sort of go, Triple X is the Soviet agent, and you think it's this guy, and it turns out it's his girlfriend who's Triple X. It's
and as well, what's great as well, it was Cubby's first one.
Cubby alone,
without Harry Saltz.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So there's probably a few ideas where, because obviously a partnership, there's always things where you go, oh, maybe not do that, and then he just was allowed to just unleash the reins of a United Artists, maybe. Anyway, but then my next one, Man with a Golden Gun, which I bloody love. I love Scaramanga. I love the third nipple. I love that they put hair around the third nipple. Yeah. I love so many kisses. No, I think that's a different one. But I love. What's she called? The girl in the
Good Night.
No, the girl in the water who's swimming, who's got like chew me.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Horrible name, but a great name at the same time. I just love that film. It's so good. Tabasco.
Oh, one of the best opening lines of any film ever.
We were saying that imagine heaven if the heaven's got Christopher Lee and Hergé Villechaize in it. With Roger Moore now, playing Magic the Golden Gun. Yeah. They set up a villain for Bond who seems equal to Bond, if not better than Bond when it comes to actual. Because obviously the bad guys in Bond tend to be henchmen, and there tends to be evil villains. And the henchmen aren't as good interest in the character usually as Bond, and the evil villains aren't as good physically. So but this one combines them both to make.
He is pretty much just if Bond went bad. You could say.
Well that's said lots of times in the dialogue and things. So I just love that film. And then same as you, favourite one. Anyone who disagrees is wrong in the head. View to a Kill.
Can't be beaten. It's brilliant.
It's amazing. It's the only one that's needed a legal disclaimer at the beginning saying, or at the end was it, saying any comparison to a real life Max it is purely coincidental.
Also,
which makes you think that there's some bad fucker out there.
Lois Maxwell's farewell as well.
Yeah, Lois. We never mentioned how good their relationship is because it's a completely different relationship from the Sean Connery one, which is just I'm gonna fuck you now. Whereas theirs is like proper friendship. You can tell. I think apparently they were in the same class at RADA together, him and Lois Maxwell, which would sort of explain their closeness, I guess. Everyone seems to have been best friends with Roger Moore. If you hear any story of someone at that point.
It's so lovely. I mean, we won't go into it because I'm sure everyone who's listening to this has already heard it, but the story about the kid who met him in the airport in the early 80s, go and read it on The Guardian, but basically he saw him and went to ask for his autograph. Got it signed, and then
he got it signed, and Roger Moore. He signed Roger Moore, and the kid was a little bit upset because he's pretend that isn't his name. His name's James Bond.
Yeah, and then he went back. His granddad, he said, "Granddad, he signed it wrong. His name's James Bond." He went back, and then Roger Moore sat him on his knee and said, "I have to tell everyone that my name's Roger Moore, but really I'm James Bond.
Blofeld might find out. Don't tell anyone." And
that is just like one of the perfect things that anyone could ever do.
We haven't told the second half of the story, which is
that's the
clincher.
Yeah,
where about 25 something years later, he's filming his piece to camera for like some sort of charitable thing. Because Roger Moore was a big UNICEF ambassador, and then he says later on, "Oh, you probably don't remember this story. I was in Nice with you at this point, and then this happened." And he goes, "Oh no, I don't remember it, but lovely to meet you." Blah blah. Yeah. But later on, Roger Moore passes him in a corridor, and it's just those two. And Roger Moore leans in and goes, "I'm sorry about before. Of course, I remember Nice. I didn't want anyone to find out. Message might get back to Blofeld." And then walked on, and like, it's just the sweetest man. You hear all you hear about Roger Moore is sweet stories. You don't hear anything bad.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the other James Bonds, you do hear some iffy stuff. Whereas Roger Moore, just a gent. Again, like I said, I was listening to that Desert Island Discs, and it's probably sacrilege to not know the guy who was hosting back in 1981.
Yeah.
But they were best friends. You felt like everyone seems to be. Michael Caine, he was close to. He was close to Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Close to such a nice person.
Yeah. He's the one who, like, even Sean Connery's a fan of him.
Yeah.
It's blah.
He got on massively well with. He was the one who sort of brokered peace between. I think at least tried to broker peace between.
Yeah, Cubby and
him and Cubby. I know it was Barbara Broccoli in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. There's a good quote again. It's from the. It's almost as if I did this in preparation for this episode. But I listened to that Desert Island Discs, and there's a quote where he's saying, when he's asked if he's going to do another James Bond film, and he does do James Bond films after the episode, and he says, "Well, I'm not telling you now because if I tell you now, Cubby will hear, and he'll think he can lowball me on the price," and stuff like that. So like, he had that kind of relationship where he could make jokes about.
Yeah.
And that kind of interviewing things. I mean, this is not really a Roger Moore thing, just generally a James Bond thing, but I love that you could mention, and Sean Connery did, probably negatively actually in interviews, but we could just mention Cubby, and then people would know who you meant.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? I mean, obviously we do, but like, who would randomly know who the head producer of Star Wars is now?
Yeah.
Like, the average person wouldn't.
No.
They wouldn't be able to say, "Oh, Kathleen Kennedy said this." But in interviews, they always were just name-dropping Cubby at the drop of a hat.
It's such a family thing, and he was, you could say, like the face of the family because
he was in the family before. Yeah. If using that term, he was in the family before he was James Bond. He was. Wasn't there a chance he was going to be the one who replaced Sean Connery beforehand? Maybe not even the George Lazenby film.
Even when Sean Connery started like
umming and ahhing about the price,
around about sort of like Thunderball time, they were looking at him straight away, weren't they? So he's really great.
Obviously because of the Saint being a spy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the look he had.
Yeah. Anyway, we should move on because we're running out of time. We've gone on so much, but there's still a few other things we need to talk about.
We could go on forever.
We could. So, I mean, quickly, I want to talk about who you think is the best chemistry and best foe for Roger Moore.
Okay.
Who do you think?
Chemistry, obviously I was saying before, chemistry with Lois Maxwell.
Yeah. Is
really good. His chemistry with M.
Yeah.
Is insane. Again, I'm going to go through all of them. Q.
Well, I think his chemistry. I think he brings out the best in Desmond Llewellyn.
Definitely, Desmond Llewellyn was a bit not on autopilot, but a bit.
Yeah.
hadn't found his feet as much as he had by the time Roger Moore came along.
Yeah, and I think he is just brilliant in those scenes.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like even in Octopussy, where he's that guy's climbing it's like a weird like rope thing that extends and stuff, and then it falls down. It has the weirdest sound effect over the top of it, like a weird spacey sound effect as it comes down. And then he just looks at Q and goes, "Problems keeping it up, Q." It's bloody brilliant.
007.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first proper. I mean, he did it a little bit with Sean Connery, but that was the first proper QI roles at Bond.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you might probably mean more in specific films. Drax, I really love him with Drax.
Yeah.
Trying to think of more. I mean, him and Goodnight were really funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the best Bond girl that he plays opposite with that works the best, I think he's great with Jane Seymour.
Yeah.
The scenes like where he essentially like tricks her out of her virginity and stuff.
Yeah, that
could so easily be. I mean, even now it's a bit dodgy.
Yeah,
but the way he plays it
at the time, he plays it charming enough.
Yeah, and even now you can still look at it and say,
in a way.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Is imagine if that would have been Connery and we look back on it now.
If it was Connery, it'd be like when you rewatch Back to the Future when there's the attempted rape scene in that, and you don't realise until you watch it in a room full of people on a big screen that you go,
yeah. But
it would have felt like Sean Connery, like that if it was Sean Connery playing him.
You never felt like
definitely if Lazenby played.
You never felt with Roger Moore like he was forcing.
You felt in safe hands with Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Even the bit where he pushes the as he famously calls it, the little Thai boy out of the boat.
Yeah.
Where he said, "You can't be a UNICEF ambassador and push little Thai boys out of boats." But even that bit, you feel like it felt fine with Roger Moore's Bond. Where again, if Sean Connery did it, it would feel like quite wrong.
I'm also going to throw at this there for best chemistry. All the stuff with Patrick McNee.
Yeah, I love Patrick. I mean, again, as another person, they were really close friends.
Yeah, and what a cool way to get Bond and Steed.
Yeah, well, that's the thing people might not know. Patrick McNee.
It's kind of like you could say the template for what later became Sean Connery in Last Crusade.
Yeah,
getting Bond and Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
similar
definitely.
characters together. So
and Steed was around. Not Steed. The Avengers was around pretty much the same time as Saint and stuff. Very similar, like sort of TV spy things. Also, it's where I'm so bad with names at the moment. I feel like I must be having an issue with my brain.
It's a very warm day.
No, I mean like in the last few weeks. His wife, and she's amazing. Tracy, but
at the beginning of A View to a Kill, not View to a Kill, For Your Eyes Only, when he visits a grave.
Yeah, and they mess around with her age.
Yeah,
but I mean, the actress who plays Tracy.
Oh yes, Diana Rigg.
Oh, because Diana Rigg's also from the Avengers.
Peel.
It's great. Yeah, Emma Peel. Also, Honor Blackman's from the Avengers as well.
Yeah.
Just going through the Avengers now, but it's a similar. Just watch the Avengers. I know it's nothing to do with Roger Moore.
If you're going to watch the Avengers, watch The House That Jack Built.
Yes,
that used to give me nightmares. That episode.
Watch the coloured ones as well. Go for the coloured ones if you want to go to the black and white.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because there's a series of Emma Peel ones in black and white.
They're all great. I love them. I used to have a video.
I've only watched a few Honor Blackmans, and I've watched all of the Emma Peel ones.
What do you think about this? I was thinking this last night. The Roger Moore Bond films is almost like an adult Tintin.
Yes.
I think it's great.
They made Indiana Jones is obviously James Bond.
Yeah.
Not rip-off, homage.
Yeah.
And when they came out, all the questions in France, and well, I guess French-speaking world to Belgium as well, it would be Indiana Jones is so similar to Tintin.
Yeah.
If Indiana Jones is similar to Tintin, then so is James Bond. It's and it's more of a natural way of doing it because James Bond's a spy, whereas Tintin was just a teenage reporter.
Yeah,
But yeah, exactly that sort of globe-trotting. What do they call them? Travelogue.
Yeah,
films.
Yeah, it's like postcards of that era.
Yeah,
as well, which I think is great.
I was watching, like I said, I was watching Man of the Golden Gun today, and he went through like 5 or 6 countries in like a blink of an eye.
Golden, so good. Before we move on to the final little piece, favourite villain that he comes up against. I've got to say, Christopher Walken, Zorin. Just for that axe fight is amazing.
He's just at that point he was the biggest name actor to be in James Bond, apart from someone who made their name from James Bond.
He was third choice as well.
Yeah, because David Bowie was at least one ahead of him.
Yeah, and Sting.
Fucking hell, Sting would have been dreadful.
Yeah.
David Bowie would have been good.
Yeah,
maybe not as good, but good.
I'm glad they went with an actual actor.
Yeah. Well, again, this is nothing to do with James Bond, but when in Batman Returns when he played when it was going to be David Bowie and it ended up being
Max Schreck.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love the fact that Christopher Walken laughs just as he's about to fall into the abyss as well of the water under the Golden Gate Bridge.
And it has the best line ever in James Bond, as in the worst line ever in James Bond when Mayday goes, what a view, and he goes, to a kill, which doesn't make any sense.
Oh, when they drop that guy out of the blimp though, and then when Mayday presses the button to make the stairs go, and then she puts those little like steampunky glasses on, cool as.
But but considering this is the... Sorry.
I was just going to say the guy at the beginning of U2 was like, oh, my car! Oh! When his car gets chopped in half as well. Brilliant.
Considering this is the era of we're not allowed to use Blofeld, they do very well with their Blofeld lights as well. Because, like I was saying before, Stromberg isn't bad.
Yeah.
I love...
Drax is great.
Drax, yeah.
Very interesting villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely placeholders for Blofeld. It would have been Blofeld in any other film.
Yeah, exactly.
But did so well, and the fact of it, considering they're introducing them, Bond always makes them man up with a threat, even though they have the exact same plot in those two films.
So the final thing that we're going to run through before we go is our favourite Roger Moore action scene. Okay. Now, I know mine. Did you want me to go first in case
I want to go first because I've pretty much said it already. Yeah. It's the one from The Spy Who Loved Me, the very beginning.
That's definitely not what I've chosen then.
Okay, good. Because it's not only is it obviously the triumphant part with the flag and everything like that, but it's also very plot heavy because for a cold open, it's very rare that cold opens actually are to do with the plot. But in the cold open, he kills Triple X's boyfriend,
who looks just like him.
She has a type, and
Ringo.
So, yes. Big noses. So again, Ringo, big friend of Roger Moore. Yeah. And so not only is it just brilliant, it starts off with him in the lodge with the bit on the side. Yeah. And for England, darling. Yeah. And then it's just so triumphant. It's character. I don't know. You can't get better than that for me. It probably maybe in Casino Royale a couple, but in the whole of the franchise,
you could say nobody does it better.
Go on, what's yours?
My favourite, and it's not as iconic, but I'm a sucker for any fight on a train.
Yeah.
Which is why, I mean, I know...
Yeah, that's a good...
I know a lot of people immediately will be thinking Jaws, where he electrocutes his teeth.
Yeah.
But no. I'm going for a different film. I'm going for Bond's fight with Tee-Hee.
Yes.
Because that fight is brilliant.
And it ends with Baron Samedi on the train laughing for no reason. That doesn't go anywhere.
It's gold. It reminds me of that Night Train episode, or the haunted Night Train on Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
Do you remember where that guy is the ghost just riding the train at the beginning? Brilliant.
It's funny as well because it has Solitaire being pushed up into the thing. She has no idea that the fight's going on.
That wasn't very nice. Whatever she says. But when he uses like the toenail clippers or whatever it is on like the strings in his arm, and Tee-Hee's laugh is amazing.
It's not just Tee-Hee.
Yeah, that's like a 20 a day like smoker's laugh, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. But I love as well like his scream when he gets pushed out. He's got his little aviators on and his big red jacket. Yeah. Oh man, it's brilliant. That's the closest we think to like, oh shit, James Bond's in real trouble here. I think.
Yeah.
Like probably because of all the Roger Moores, that's the one where I think he seems like he might. Do you know what I mean?
It could be one and gone because they don't know.
He's getting choked by the big metal arm at that point, isn't he? So
you don't know. He could be a placeholder. There's no.
Yeah, exactly.
They've had I think 3 Bonds in 3 films, so it could be a 4th one for the next one. You don't know until they come back.
Yeah. So there we are.
I suppose if they killed him off, they wouldn't. That would be a James Bond completely, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway.
There we go. He could have injured him so bad that he goes in hospital, gets face bandages, just like Owen Wilson at the start of Darjeeling Limited.
Yes. Start
of the next Bond film, Ian peels it and he's a different actor. Something like that.
Or like,
almost like Eyes Wide Shut. Le Sans en Visage.
Or like Felix Leiter from off of that film.
Yes.
But also from the end of... his original run.
Yeah. Bloody Nora. Anyway, I mean...
He's my favourite Felix Leiter, but isn't
Jeffrey Wright.
Isn't Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, just pips it. But they're both very good.
I think because Roger Moore has a great line in that film where he goes, "Oh, a genuine Felix Leiter."
Yeah. Brilliant. So there you go, readers. There's our whiz through, our celebratory episode of Roger Moore.
We love Roger.
We love him so, and we will miss him dearly. But thanks for all the memories. Childhood.
I say thank you for the movies.
Childhood icon for me. He was a British matinee idol, I think we could say.
ITV mid-90s idols for me.
That's it, yeah. What we're going to do is we've contacted a few fellow Bondians and friends of the pod, and we've got a few of them to send in little voice clips of their favourite Roger Moore moments and thoughts
or just,
and things.
Just memories or something.
Yeah, so we're going to play that now to see us out. So we love Roger Moore. We hope you all love him as much as we do. Go home, go and watch one of the 7, if not all of them.
And there's one thing we have to say at the very end. Nobody does it better.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Hello, I'm Calvin Dyson. So Sir Roger was the first ever Bond I saw. Moonraker was the first Bond film I ever saw, and had a huge impact on my life, obviously. Roger has always been my very favourite Bond, and if I had to boil down why into one quick sentence, then I would say it would be down to the charm and effortless British cool he was able to bring to every role that I ever saw him in. I only met him once, very briefly, a book signing, but he was such a gentleman and every bit as cool, even 40 odd years after playing Bond on screen. If I had to pick a couple of favourite moments from him, then the smile and courteous nod he gives Jaws just before the cable car fight in Moonraker. The scene where he's in the car with Agent XXX in Spy Who Loved Me, and he's coming out with all the quips, and earlier on when he tries to subtly put his arm around her. A woman is another favourite moment, and pretty much every time he gets hit by someone, he does that noise. Do that a lot myself.
Hi, this is Ped from Toffee TV. My favourite Roger Moore moments, or certainly the ones I remember most, is A View to a Kill. It was my first Bond film. He was absolutely brilliant in it, as he was in the other Bond films. What I loved about him was the fact that 1 minute he could be this guy, tongue-in-cheek, talking about some sexual innuendo, and the next minute he's proper hardcore fighting. Also, one thing I loved about Roger Moore as well was he would always send himself up, and he did that in Cannonball Run, where he basically played himself or James Bond or one of those two people, because I could never really split them apart. Also, a big shout out to his cameo in The Saint, a film that I like and other people don't, where he was basically a DJ on the radio. There you go. Thanks to the guys. I hope there's some other special memories about Roger Moore. What a guy.
My name is Lee Fisher. I'm 28 years old. My first experience of James Bond was probably at the age of about 6 or 7. I distinctly remember watching the film Live and Let Die, which of course was Roger's first appearance as Bond, and from that moment on I loved the series. But for me, when anybody asks me what my favourite Bond film is, I will always say Live and Let Die. I know it isn't the best. It's not a Goldfinger, it's not a From Russia With Love, but for me it's the perfect Sunday afternoon viewing. Those fantastic boat chases, the running on the alligators' backs, even Sheriff Pepper. It's just a great film, and I think Roger, for younger viewers, was just perfect. That sense of humour, the charm, the suave secret agent that every young boy would want to be. So purely for Live and Let Die, and I love his other films as well, but purely for Live and Let Die, thank you, Rog.
Hi there, John Hatton here of the Verbal Ramblers podcast, facebook.com/Verbal Ramblers. My favourite Roger Moore moment would have to be The Spy Who Loved Me. One of the finest Bond films, and also, more importantly, paving the way for one of the most infamous monologues in British comedy history in Never Say Alan Again, Series 2 of I'm Alan Partridge. Lovely stuff. Not my words, Gary, the words of Shakin' Stevens.
Roger Moore was Bond. He invented the English accent, and he was a massive humanitarian. But my favourite thing that Roger Moore ever did was in a film called Boat Trip, where he filleted a sausage from the breakfast buffet of a gay cruise to try to turn on a fat Latin American man.